Rishi Sunak has officially become the new Prime Minister of Britain. King Charles III asked the former U-K Treasury chief to form a government when they met today at Buckingham Palace. The monarch plays a ceremonial role in appointing government leaders. Sunak, who assumes the role after Liz Truss held the job for just 45 days, spoke briefly after meeting the king.
It is only right to explain why I am standing here as your new Prime Minister. Right now, our country is facing a profound economic crisis. The aftermath of COVID still lingers. Putin's war in Ukraine has destabilized energy markets and supply chains.
And for more now, I'm joined live from London with Glenn McGregor. Glenn, thanks for being here. We just heard Rishi Sunak talking about post-COVID, the war in Ukraine, but also there's the hangover from Brexit. That's a cloud hanging over his party and his government.
It sure is, and he is a Brexit supporter, was a loyalist to Boris Johnson, and this is something that the UK is going to have to deal with, and it's going to be affecting their economy moving ahead. But they are facing other economic problems right now, like a lot of Western countries. Inflation is extremely high in the double digits here, and this has really eroded confidence in the Conservative government, not to mention all the turnovers in the Prime Minister's office. Today we saw two different Prime Ministers passing through the doors at 10 Downing Street. Liz Truss, on her way out, she had a cabinet meeting this morning, which was a little bit surprising, meeting with some of the people who may not survive in cabinet until the end of the day when Sunak shuffles his own cabinet. And then Truss then went to Buckingham Palace for her meeting with King Charles III to offer his resignation, which of course she accepted, and she was followed there shortly after by Rishi Sunak. Now, he is warning that there are going to be very difficult decisions ahead for his government, and for him personally, of course, those difficult decisions, George, begin today because he has to select who is going to be in his cabinet, who his ministers are going to be. Some veterans coming back, some people who were loyal to Truss and Boris Johnson before might not make the cut.
And Glenn, I guess the calls for a possible election getting louder like those ones behind you maybe too.
Yeah, lots of protesters out here, as there always are, out in front of the Houses of Parliament at Westminster. But yes, growing calls from the opposition to call an election. The Conservatives have a majority in Parliament, and like in our system, that means they don't have to call an election until they've served out their full mandate. That would take us to January of 2025. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer saying no, the British people should not have to wait that long before an election, that they should have an opportunity to cast their choice and decide whether or not they want Mr. Sunak to be their Prime Minister. But the Conservatives, they can read the polls as well as anyone else. They are well behind with Mr. Sunak, according to the most recent public opinion polling research showing that they would lose very badly were an election held today. A Labour majority, a strong Labour majority, George, would be the most likely result.
Glenn McGregor, CTV News, live in London. Greg, thanks.